Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one, I want to talk about the Rick and Michonne show. I will be posting a trailer breakdown for episode 5, so stay tuned for that. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with the Walking Dead universe. Comic-Con is in like, what, 2 weeks from now or something? It's about, yeah, actually less than that. It's actually 13 days away exactly from today. So super exciting. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming out. Obviously, there's the Rick and Michonne teaser that we're likely going to get, or there's going to be some type of footage I'm expecting that will be shown, and we'll talk about that here in this video. There's going to be something that is shown from it, so I'm definitely very, very excited. There's going to be a lot more news probably on a release date and casting information and all that, but we'll talk about that in a second. We also got the official title for The Walking Dead Rick and Michonne, and it's called The Walking Dead Rick and Michonne. So I want to talk about the show, talk about all the new updates that we got over the last couple of days. So before we go any further, obviously make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all of my Walking Dead content like this. And if you haven't followed me on Twitch yet, definitely go do so. My channel name is Appetite for the Dead. The link for that should be in the description. But I guess the first thing that we should go over is the title for The Walking Dead Rick and Michonne. So the title is just that. It's The Walking Dead Rick and Michonne. And I personally like this title. I know that there's some people online that don't like the title. It's definitely sort of a mixed response because it's sort of, I guess, uncreative, right? Because The Walking Dead Dead City, people like that title now, but a lot of people didn't. If you remember, it was called Isle of the Dead. First of all, when it was called Isle of the Dead, people didn't like it either. It was kind of mixed. And then all of a sudden, after a few weeks, you get used to it a little bit. And then once they changed it to Dead City, then they were like, oh no, I prefer Isle of the Dead. But now it's been like a year since they changed the title, and I mean, Dead City just works really well. I really can't picture it being Isle of the Dead. Honestly, I think that would be such a weird title. The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, the same thing. I always said I want it to be just The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. For this show here, I wanted it The Walking Dead Rick and Michonne. To me, it's just something that, like, with these spinoffs, it just makes it easier just in terms of marketing. I know that people like the name Summit, and maybe you could call it that, but it's just sort of, I don't know, it's a lot to call it something like that because, like, you would have to have that related in some way, I guess, to the story, just have it make sense in some way, and I don't know if that necessarily makes sense with the story. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's hard to say, but I like the name Walking Dead Rick and Michonne. Like, to me, that is just something that really works, and I think in terms of marketing, you're going to get the most viewers for that, right? Like, you're going to have people notice that. And immediately when you see Rick and Michonne, you're like, okay, like, that's about Rick and Michonne. Like, you're going to click on it immediately, and it's going to be new content, new episodes dropping. People are going to watch this. Like, this show is going to be so massive. I honestly, to me, I think the title works fine. In terms of the logo, The Walking Dead Rick and Michonne, I also don't mind it. It didn't blow me away or anything like that. Like, to me, if this is just what it is, I think it's fine. Like, I do think it works. Like, they sort of, like, they're sticking with the same Walking Dead logo. In terms of Rick and Michonne, like, again, it depends on the look for the show. Like, that's the big thing, is it depends on the overall look of the show, because I imagine all 3 shows, they're all going to have that cinematic feel, but they're probably all going to feel a little different, right? So it depends on what the show feels like. Like, they obviously know the tone that they're going for. So maybe this logo for Rick and Michonne actually works with that, right? Because I would say for Dead City, that logo definitely works. So it's hard to say, right? Like, we'll just have to wait and see. Like, I have no idea what it's going to be like when they actually release everything. Like, people are going to forget about a lot of this stuff here because we're going to see the footage. There's going to be all of this epic music and whatnot. There's going to be such exciting stuff there that it's really going to be something that, like, it's such a small detail. People are going to forget about this right away. So that's why, to me, I don't really get hung up on it. Like, to me, I think it's fine. Now, in terms of where we could learn some more details, that's going to be at Comic-Con, because Comic-Con is in like 13 days from now, and we actually got some details here from at TWD World on Twitter. I believe actually the originally Julian Cannon did get the news, but I'm just seeing this tweet right here from the Walking Dead World, and it says, news: The Walking Dead Universe will have a joint panel at San Diego Comic-Con this year on Friday, July 21st from 1 to 3:30 p.m. Pacific, I believe, in Hall H. The panel will feature news about The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, Fear the Walking Dead, The Walking Dead Rick and Michonne, and more from The Walking Dead universe. So obviously Dead City's not necessarily at this panel, which makes sense because the show's finale is going to be airing that weekend. So it makes sense that they're not necessarily going to have a bunch of information coming out right away. And to me, honestly, like, I think this is just like absolutely just amazing news. I'm very, very excited for whatever information we're going to be getting. Like, this is going to be such a big thing here because, I think the spinoffs now have shown us what they can do, right? Like, I think that was the question after The Walking Dead ended was, how are these spin-offs going to be? Because the spin-offs could really just end up being something that is just really, really bad, really, really just, I mean, look at World Beyond, right? And look at like many seasons of Fear the Walking Dead and even like Tales of the Walking Dead. Like their spinoffs just haven't been that great. And it looks like, you know, they fixed whatever problem it was or they addressed it. And I mean, look at Dead City. It's honestly like Dead City right now is better than The Walking Dead's last, I don't even know how many seasons, right? So they're taking this very seriously. Maybe it's the budget. I'm not entirely sure what the issue is. I mean, you guys can definitely discuss that. But because of how amazingly well Dead City has been received by fans, critics, and etc., this year's Comic-Con is going to be very, very exciting because there's going to be a lot more news about Daryl Dixon, you know, the Rick and Michonne. Fear the Walking Dead, obviously, there's only 6 episodes left of that. So, you know, like for Fear, I'm not necessarily that excited for it, but like I'll still watch those 6 episodes just sort of, you know, to say goodbye to that show and to those characters. And just we'll see what happens if those characters like join the other spinoffs or whatever. But for that show, I'm more in the same place as, you know, just where I was with The Walking Dead towards the end. Like throughout those last 8 episodes, I really didn't care too much about the Commonwealth story. I was just all about like, is this a Rick reference? How are they going to set up the spinoffs here? Like, I just really wanted to get into that part of the story, which is where we're at right now. So it's exciting. The one thing that's pretty interesting, though, is the fact that this panel is 2.5 hours long, and it seems to be just like literally a Walking Dead Universe panel. So it's going to be 2.5 hours long. And they're going to have the cast on there, I guess, from those 3 shows. Dead City, for some reason, isn't there. But yeah, I guess they're going to talk about those 3 shows there. And obviously, The Walking Dead Rick and Michonne is going to be the last panel, most likely. So I'm expecting it to be something where they do Fear the Walking Dead first. And, you know, they'll talk about that show, talk about the last 6 episodes. Lenny James, I don't know if he's going to be there. So we'll have to wait and see in terms of like the cast and whatnot that's going to be there. Daryl Dixon, obviously, that's going to be really cool to actually have Daryl up on stage or not Daryl, but Norman Reedus up on stage. And then just to meet the other characters from the show, right? Because we never got that really with Dead City. With Dead City, it just, you know, it aired at a different time. Like I know that I think they did have like obviously they did have like some sort of event that they did, but it's not the same as like San Diego Comic-Con. Like it's just different, you know. And I imagine at some point in between there, somewhere around Fear the Walking Dead and in between that and like Daryl Dixon, they'll probably announce a season 2 for Dead City. There could be announcements for other things. And then with Daryl Dixon, like they could just renew this show for season 2 like right away, right? Because I do believe that they are filming right now. That's the thing. Like I believe they are filming right now for season 2. Do they come out and just announce it right away? We'll have to wait and see. And then obviously the last one here will be like The Walking Dead Rick and Michonne. And this is where we could learn a lot of interesting details. And I imagine we're going to learn a lot of details about this show. I think we're going to get footage. I do think there's going to be something in terms of an official trailer that's like 2 minutes long. I don't know. Like it's possible that they did put something together, but that might be something we have to wait until like November for, right? After Daryl Dixon ends, like the finale for Daryl Dixon, they released the trailer for this show, teasing its release in like February or like March, April or something of 2024. That's kind of what I'm expecting at this point right now. It's really early, I think, for a full-on trailer right now, but I think we could get a teaser. There could be some newer footage of some newer characters, something just teasing something with Rick and Michonne, right? And I believe we're going to get a lot of casting information. I think that's a big thing at this year's Comic-Con is I believe we're going to have obviously likely the cast there, right, from the show. And it's going to be really interesting to see who's playing Major General Beale, which obviously we do know, but like it's going to have, you know, we're going to have the official confirmation of that. Jade is coming back. Like there's a lot of stuff that has just sort of been out there. There's been articles on all this stuff, but nothing has been officially announced yet. So that's going to be kind of cool to see, right? Just to have all of that. They can talk about the show, talk about their experiences there. We should get a hint if there's going to be a season 2 at all. I mean, even then, like, again, with this show, it's a mini series, limited series or whatever. I think what that just means is, I mean, first of all, it could just be 6 episodes and that's it. But a lot of limited series or mini series get renewed for a season 2 or 3, right? And it usually doesn't go past that. So to me, that's why I always say like that possibility there is it's still there. I could see them doing like a season 2 or maybe even a season 3 and then just ending it, but keeping all, you know, those 2 seasons like 6 episodes. And so instead of 3 movies, we get 3 seasons over a couple of years or whatever. And again, because it's like a limited series and not an ongoing series like Daryl Dixon and Dead City, I that just all that means is that Rick and Michonne's not going to be out every single year. Like, it's going to be Daryl Dixon and Dead City that come out pretty regularly every single year, and then Rick and Michonne might be out every other year kind of thing, right? For like maybe 2 or 3 seasons. Like, I could see them doing something like that. So we might get a hint at that here. There could be some questions and whatnot. Like, there's just, I mean, obviously with this show, like, people want more, because I also do believe, like, just based off of the filming stuff and all that, like, I don't know, I didn't really get a hint that there was any reunions. Maybe they filmed something indoors, but like, it really does feel like the story is ending without any of the reunions. Like, obviously we have Rick and Michonne reuniting. I don't know if he's going back to Alexandria though, because they didn't really film there. Again, like, you could end it in a really cool way, but like, you want to end it with their characters reuniting with everybody, reuniting with Morgan, just everyone, right? Like, you want to be able to end The Walking Dead in a really great way. So to me, I just think the 6 episodes is just, it's really not enough, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. I think this year's Comic-Con is going to be really exciting. There's going to be a lot of information that we learn, and I really cannot wait. Last year's Comic-Con, it was actually, honestly, last year was actually pretty good as well, because they announced the Rick and Michonne show. Besides that, though, it was just the final season and I think some other things. So this year is definitely very different, and it's actually kind of exciting. I like the fact that they do have a joint panel here for the Walking Dead universe, because like, having it be all the separate shows and whatnot, I was actually wondering, I'm like, how are you going to pull that off? Like, if you just had a panel for each show, like, that's just so confusing. You know what I mean? Like, it actually does make sense. Just have a Walking Dead universe panel, have it for I guess 2.5 hours, and you can talk about all 3 shows, 4 shows or whatever. And this way you don't have to have every single show run an hour, right? Like, you can sort of, like, maybe with Fear the Walking Dead, you give that show like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, right? Like, I think that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, so post all your thoughts down below. Definitely let me know your thoughts on, I guess, the title and the logo as well. Are you a fan of that? And also your predictions, I guess, for Comic-Con this year. So hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.